The Orange walked the Huskies in a 51-21 win in front of 36,632 fans inside the Carrier Dome, going 4-0 for the first time in 27 years. We'll give you our thoughts on the game. We'll hear your thoughts on the game. The Orange head to Death Valley to play Clemson Saturday, September 29th at noon. Joe will let us know what to expect there and plenty of stuff in between. I am Sean. This is the Cuse Militia Podcast.
Is that an orange in your pants, or are you just happy Cuse won? Make some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at Cuse Militia Podcast and follow on Twitter at Cuse Militia. The right of the people to keep and wear orange shall not be infringed.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. And as always, we have so much to get to. But first, also as always, if you are betting with any other betting site other than MyBookie, let me tell you what, you're doing it wrong. Remember, who you're betting on is just as important as who you're betting with. That's why I always tell people to bet with MyBookie. Trust me, they are the best bet this season. They've been in business for years, have great reviews online, and their mobile site is easy to use. I would only recommend a service to my listeners that's been good to me. That's why I'm urging you to make your way to MyBookie. You win, they pay. They have in-game live betting, over-unders, and fantasy points scored, and the most rewarding player perks in the business. MyBookie is now slammed with new bettors and wants to give everybody the best possible service. If you are willing to deposit after 7 p.m. Eastern Time, they will give you an additional $25 free play on deposits over $100. But that's only good for after 7 p.m. Join now and MyBookie will match your offer dollar for dollar. Use promo code CUSE to activate that offer. MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie. And don't forget to use promo code CUSE. If you are willing to hold out till after 7 p.m. on any day, you can also get that extra $25 free play by using a different promo code. That promo code is CUSE25. CUSE25 after 7 p.m. Get that extra $25. If it was up to me, wait. Get another extra couple hours, get that extra $25. What the hell? You play, you win, you get paid. A couple things real quick. I think we'd be doing it. All Syracuse fans could cheer about ODU beating Virginia Tech, right? I think so. Yeah. I think that's pretty awesome. ODU is a relatively new football program. 09, I think.
Yeah.
And they just went into the FBS 2014. So
yeah. Well, you could look at it a couple of different ways. Because if Syracuse fans, if the teams that they beat come out and keep winning and beat other teams, then maybe these teams that the fans didn't think are that good are actually a little bit better, which maybe in their eyes would make us look a little bit better and even maybe through the country and getting more respect as far as that goes. But
true. Yeah.
Virginia Tech beat up on Florida State, so you'd like to think they're pretty good and that they wouldn't, be in a situation to lose to an ODU team. But
yeah, exactly. One other thing real quick. At some point, we're going to do a Google Hangout, and what we'll do is that's where we'll be on a live feed through YouTube. I'll send the link out. I don't know if or when we're going to do it. We got to figure out how to do it first. But if we do it, it'll be like a fan thing, and I'll send the link out on Twitter. If you click the link, you'll be joined in. And then from there, you can we can send you a direct link to your email, and you can actually get on with us. So if anyone's interested in that, we were trying to find ways to do it, and I think that's the best way I found to start off anyway. So, all right, well, I guess Eric Dungey is healthy. He was 21 for 27 for 286 yards through the air. He had 16 carries for 77 yards and 3 TDs. That's 24 rushing touchdowns in his career, tied 7th all-time, and he surpassed Jim Brown. So congrats to him on that. Sean Riley led 9 players to catch a ball with 6 receptions for 120 yards and a TD. Nakeem Johnson followed up with 78 yards. Baldwinsville native Gabe Haran's first catch for Syracuse turns into a 7-yard touchdown. That's awesome. Congrats to him on that. Another quick note on Riley. He had 159 yards in the return game with a punt return for a TD, and he also had 11 yards on the ground. That's 290 all-purpose yards altogether. Mo Neal had a breakout game with 116 yards on 13 carries. Strickland carried 5 times for 61. Jarvion Howard ripped another long one, 52 yards, but he lost the ball on the goal line. It was a travesty. So he finished with 60, though, on the ground. Syracuse had altogether 341 yards rushing on the ground, and UConn's David Pindell gashed the Orange with a 75-yard rushing touchdown. He was 17 for 24 through the air for only 151 yards. He was also sacked 6 times. Alton Robertson with 3. That makes him the 12th player in program history to do so, 3 sacks in the game. Kylan Whitner, Kendall Coleman, and Antoine Cordy followed up each with 1. So once again, the defense steps up. Going into Clemson, it's going to be a whole different ball game. But I will say it's been 27 years. We mentioned going 4-0. And I know for a fact that there's people who listen to this podcast that weren't even born when that happened the last time. So, because I specifically got a tweet about it. So, and they won handily. But for some reason, I wanted more. I felt like they could have played better. The defense was a little.
No, they're not going to be perfect.
Slow. I know, but
and there's going to be times in that game when you, the beginning looked, the first drive, UConn, they were moving the ball a little bit, and then we get that fumble recovery, and then we go down, and our offense just makes it look so easy. So, when you saw that, is this what this day is going to look? And our offense was pretty much that easy for them all game. So I figured that, when a team's scoring on you like that, then the other team has to throw some desperation plays and kind of go for it to try to get on the scoreboard. And I kind of knew that, there's going to be a play here and there that, that sprung loose.
Well, really?
The one thing I don't like and that can happen next week is the 11 penalties for 100 yards. But other than that, we rushed the ball for 341 yards, passed for 295, total of 636 yards. It's ridiculous. So, and again, like you said, our defense, they still played good. It wasn't good. UConn, they've scored a little bit of points on some people. Even the ranked teams that they played, they put up 7 points, 14 points, something like that. So they had a quarterback that broke a long one, and then at some point, maybe, I don't want to say ever come out and say the team gets uninterested, but they put their second teamers in, and so how much more you want to see? Just a murder? Yeah. You want to see like a 65 to 10? Yeah. That's pretty much.
I just felt like no. I think they did great. The defense played great. The defense is really, you had a little bit here and there, and like you said, you're going to have that. And they're like this maybe, some of the Western Michigan game there for a little bit was a little touch and go, but they've done a really good job. They've done a fantastic job, and they're night and day from last year. You got who is it? Cisco. He leads the nation. He leads the nation in interceptions right now. So
as a true freshman,
it's amazing.
He averages 1 a game. Yeah, it's pretty good. We have more takeovers or aways and stuff like that. And another thing that I want to mention about this game too is that sometimes that's just what happens. You play a UConn game and everyone's making plays, and sometimes you start to lose your integrity on the field as far as what your job is on every single play. And some people try to jump stuff and try to make plays and make big plays. And that's sometimes how some big plays get sparked off. And again, to me, you could say what it is because people are going to disagree with me, but at the end of the year, what do the fans always say? Oh, it's about the wins and losses, right?
Exactly.
So whether it's they score another 2 touchdowns and they beat this team, 65-7 or 51-21, the whole point of the matter is that they were in control of the game and dominated that team, and there was never a worry that game was going to be in jeopardy. So that's really what comes out to me. I don't really care what the score is. If whether it's 30 or whether it's 45, it doesn't really matter. You're in control of the game. You got it done. End of story.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they did. And as far as the offense goes, too, I guess 9.8 yards per play in the first half. That's incredible. UConn's defense, though, they give up on an average 9.6, so they were right at that. But it's impressive nonetheless. And Eric Dungey did not seem to have any issues. What do you think? Did you see anything? I mean, he took a couple shots. And I didn't.
He looked
see
pretty
him.
healthy to me. I think it was when he came out with a vengeance, just kind of like what we talked about last week about him being a little probably upset that he had to sit out that Florida State game. So. Again, it just was one of those things where I think he was just in there, and I don't know. I think watching his like quarterback draws and just like I don't know if he was just calling his own number, or if that was really the play that was called. But you could tell that he was out there to prove a point early.
Yeah, he was taking him.
Yeah,
quicker than normal. As soon as he saw a little bit of an opening, he was gone.
Yeah. So that between that and then I mean obviously Sean Riley's breakout game, it was. I'd like to see him have a game like that against ACC competition, or
you think they keep him back there to once Antoine Cordy?
I mean, he's been back there before for kickoffs. So, and I don't know if it was just giving Cordy a break or whatever, but I mean, you never know. He might. And another person that I actually liked from watching was Nykeem Johnson. I like the way that guy runs with the ball. He runs it fierce.
Followed up with 78 yards. So,
yeah.
We had that almost the identical play. It was the identical play.
The wide receiver screens, like the full, yeah, it was the first.
Yeah, the bubble screens, but I'm talking about Custis. He let two go on the same play, and the ball was right there both times, over the shoulder, right there, and just slipped through his hands. Know
what? He's a fifth-year senior in which this is what he's done his whole career. That's why we haven't heard of him, or he hasn't got playing time. So it's just, to me, it's just expected at this point. As long as he makes the ones that count,
Yeah.
Thank God the ones he's dropped have been in games where we've kind of ended up winning handily,
Yeah, and unfortunate for Jarvion Howard. We mentioned that he had that fumble on the goal line, which is really unfortunate because the week before, Dino Babers was praising him in his
for doing the exact
play, for protecting the ball on his last breakaway run. So, mistakes are going to happen, but it's just unfortunate because I love Jarvion Howard. I think he should get more reps, but he's a freshman, so I mean, what are you going to do? Plus, there's two other great. I mean, if you include Dungey, there's three other great. Runners. So
Jarvion Howard and Strickland, they only carried the ball 5-6 times, but they both averaged over 12 yards. And even Mo Neal, 13 carries for 116 yards. He averaged 9 yards a carry. I mean, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's
so.
Crazy.
I mean, we can run the ball, and
which is
happened in a couple different teams. I don't know. Next week is going to be a different story a little bit.
Well, we'll talk about that. But hey, one more thing to hit on real quick.
No, we're 4-0.
We're 4-0. Yeah, but
cool.
It seemed on Twitter, the buzz on Twitter, maybe on Facebook, and talking to Syracuse fans that said, we're going to be ranked. We deserve to be ranked. And I was, I don't know. Boston College lost or whatever, and Virginia Tech lost. But it's really dependent on we haven't played or beat. We haven't even played a ranked team yet. I mean, the closest we came was Florida State, and they were preseason ranked, but
Yeah, well, a lot of it sometimes too comes down. Well, it obviously is who you play, but also where did you start?
True. Yeah. Right.
If we would have started ranked 30th, 35th, then but we probably started around 50.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point
50
because
or 60.
They only predicted. The AP was only predicting. I think that was the AP was only predicting 2 wins. It was predicted 2 and 10. So
2 to 4 wins, most of them. Yeah, that's and again, just because the Power 5 team and everything. I mean, we probably started the year off somewhere in the 50s. So it takes a little while to move up.
Right, and Dungey got hosed at the goal line on a penalty too. I think they ended up having to kick a field goal on that drive, actually. And they were right there. Guy tries to slap the ball out of his hands, and Dungey just turns around and flips the ball at his back, and he gets the flag. So, that's typical, though. The guy that retaliates is the one that gets the
usually gets caught.
Time. That's right. So, final thoughts on the UConn game? Anything?
Just, they did what I thought they were going to do, and they're 4-0, and I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, true.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House, the best damn college sports fans in the nation.
All right, if you want to get in on the fan feedback, just go to our Facebook page, Cuse Militia Podcast. Go to @Cuse Militia on Twitter or @Cuse_Militia on Twitter. And I always throw the question out there. So
okay, we'll go do that right now.
You can go. It's too late this week, Joe, but you can try for next week if you really want to do it. Okay.
I'm always late.
You are. All right, first thing we had was a poll. I put a quick poll out after the game. Very simple. Will Syracuse go 5-0? 221 votes. It was actually pretty close. 44% said no. 56% said yes. Joe, give me your honest opinion. Where do you stand? I'll go first. If you want.
This is one that I always thought we were going to lose.
Right. Uh-huh.
I mean, it's on their. It's their field, and after last year and the way that they've been playing this year,
right,
it's just going to be tough, man. It's definitely going to be tough. This was one of the ones that I marked up as obviously probably the one of the ones that I definitely thought we were going to lose. So,
yeah.
Again, just to be 4-0 and to be in this point, I mean, we're going to be playing at noon on national television. People are starting to recognize us a little bit, and yeah, so I just hope that we go out there and we just do a good, put a good showing up there. Because I know Clemson's going to want to kill us like they did 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I remember, too, last week when Donald, remember Donald from last week? When he said UConn would give Syracuse a run for their money or whatever in so many words.
No, yeah, his Huskies.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't find it because I believe he deleted it all. I went back to try to find an exact quote, and I couldn't find it. But anyway, I thought I'd bring that up. So... for the hell of it, right? So, all right, some fan feedback on Twitter. Let's see here. Let's go Twitter. @GeoHeater. What a feeling, 4-0 for the first time in my life. Dungy bounced back. Jarvion Howard is a beast. Oh, 100%. I want to see more of him. D-line looks good with Alton, Chris, and Kendall seeing different receivers. Nykeem Johnson is very aggressive. Cisco is great. Hoping we're ranked. Go Cuse. That was a lot. That was a lot there. Good job.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see more of Jarvion Howard too. He got 5 carries. Is that what he got? 5 carries. I think him and Strickland both got 5 carries. Yeah. So, it's tough. Spreading the ball around to that many different people. But
but just by him getting the time, because we've been actually beating teams pretty good. He's been getting more carries during the game, and then it's getting the coaches, give him more confidence to put him in more packages during practice. And I mean, it's only a matter of time, because at some point, like maybe this Saturday when the big boys come around, who's going to know how certain people step up and play? So,
yeah. In Darnold, I trust, says the team looks very good, but need to see how they are against the top team. The Clemson game will be a big test. Yeah, absolutely. I think we get a really good idea of how the rest of the season can go. If Ravion Pierce is out, he won't be there. But if everyone stays healthy through this week in this game, we'll get a real good inkling of what to expect, I think, going forward.
Hey, it's kind of like Sam Darnold in the NFL, the Jets.
Yeah,
they finally played a real team like Cleveland, and he struggled.
Oh, damn. @Derek Lenio. Cuse offense under Dino has always been one of the best offenses in the country. Look at the numbers. Last year we proved we can run with the best of them. The offense is better this year than last year in all aspects. This offense leads us to an ACC championship and win over Clemson. Whoa! Pump the brakes, brother.
Oh, that guy is optimistic.
Holy cow. Yes, he is.
Hey, sorry about that burn, too. I don't hate Darnold like that, but I'm a Giants fan, so I got to throw him in when I can.
They probably didn't realize that. So, yeah, okay, very optimistic. I like that. He's
drinking the juice.
Yeah, absolutely. Steven,
when did he post that? That night?
That was after saucy. The win. Yeah. Steven on Facebook says, we scored 51 points with a 30-point win. We are 4-0, and yet somehow it feels like it could have been better. Shows, yeah, I concur a little bit, but it's just a feeling. You know, I mean, it ain't going to be a perfect game like Joe says. Show how expectations have changed in such a short time, but we survived, and now we get ready to face the number 3 team at their place. On second thought, it feels pretty good to be where we're at. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yep. I mean...
yep, that's all you can ask for is you win the games. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think anybody had I mean, I don't know. You picked Florida State as the upset, but to actually think that we were going to be win the first 4 games without a hiccup randomly, it's just...
That'd have been a tough call in the beginning of the year, I think.
Well, it's hard to... I mean, like we said, 1991. I was 8 years old, so I haven't really seen it, even with good teams.
Right.
So...
Yeah. Martha, great game. Keep on trucking. Daniel, great game. Go Orange. Cynthia, great game. William says he posted a picture of his kids at the game. It was his first game with his kids there. It's the first time, and they loved it. Looking forward to the next game. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. I absolutely love that. So, William,
you got to train them young.
Kudos, man. I actually brought my 4-year-old, who it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Cole. I brought him to a race for the first time this weekend. So, yeah, man, you bring kids to sporting events, and once they get on that, I mean, I did it to my oldest one, and every chance he can get, yeah, absolutely. Clifford, much improved on both sides of the ball. Go Cuse. Yeah, absolutely. There was one other comment I was searching for on Facebook, and I can't remember.
Well, I'll tell you that one.
That's okay.
Just going to those games. I mean, I remember as a young kid being able to go to my first game, and it was just I fell in love with it. I mean, it started me up, and I was going to games, all the way up until I moved. So,
yeah, I know it's awesome. I didn't go to too many as a kid, but we always watched them. Everybody gathered around the TV. But my wife did her undergrad there when I got a little older, and she did her undergrad at ESF on campus there, and you get back then. I don't know what it is now, but back then it was $10 tickets. And
yeah, I don't know exactly what it is now.
You get to sit in the student section, and that was an experience. I mean, we did that a bunch, so it was awesome. So awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for the fan feedback. We appreciate everybody that participates in that. Without you doing that, we wouldn't be able to have that segment, quite frankly. So
no, obviously.
All right, Joe. There's a little bit of controversy with your pick last week. Are you 4-0 or are you 3-1?
What do you mean controversy?
Well, I just happened to read that Syracuse didn't cover the spread. That the spread was 30.5.
Who said that?
You know what? I can't remember. Is that true or no?
The rule is that you get the number when you place the bet, my friend.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
so
we placed the bet at 27.5.
I said it.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. We placed the bet at
yeah. Like think about it. If you were to put the bet in on Tuesday or on Monday, and then it changes 3 points, they're not going to make you go with those points.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
I mean, at the end, if I picked it on Friday or Saturday, then I would have been wrong. But I didn't.
You didn't. And you can see why I lose money when I bet, because I'm more of a casino, blackjack, poker kind of guy.
Yeah.
Whenever I bet, this is what I do. My rule of thumb when I bet is to bet that my team is going to lose. Okay? So if I put $20 on Clemson this weekend, okay? Then either I win $20 or Syracuse wins, which is, even better. So it's a win-win, kind of. I used to do that with the Raiders all the time because I was so used to losing. I would be raking it in every week. You know what I'm saying?
No.
All right. This opened up. This opened up at Syracuse being favored by 23. Or they're getting to 23 points.
It's gotten to 23. It started open at 21.
Oh, did it? Okay.
It's currently 23 right now, so it's jumped up too.
All right, well, there you go.
So people have been all over Clemson.
According to MyBookie right now, at the time you're making the bet, it's at 23. They're jumping all over Clemson, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, what the hell are you going to do?
That's tough, man.
I know.
But because
that's the fun of this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. So they wouldn't have covered on game day, but when I took the bets, they would have covered, and that would have made Syracuse cover every single week. So 23 points is a lot, and I know they want to kick our you-know-what, but
it is a lot.
I still think that it's going to be a close game. So I remember the games going when they went to LSU last year and NC State and Miami, Florida State last year, and they kept it close. They were all close. It was all single-digit games, and this is 23 points, and who knows? I mean, looking at last week, what did they beat? Georgia Tech by 28 or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't get closer to 24 and a half by the time it's said and done. But I'm gonna stay with, it could be a homer pick. You could say what it was, but Syracuse they've covered.
They're gonna cover. They're gonna stay close enough.
I think that they're going to stay close enough to cover.
Okay, well, there you go. There's Joe's MyBookie pick. Keep your eye on that. Will Joe go 5-0? We don't know. One thing we do know is if you are going to bet, you're going to have to use MyBookie. Look, they're slammed with new bettors right now. They want to give you the best possible service. If you are willing to deposit after 7 p.m. Eastern Time, they will give you an additional $25 of free play on deposits over $100. Join, or you can join now. And MyBookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar. Use promo code Cuse for that to activate that offer. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie. And don't forget to use promo code Cuse when creating your account and claim up to $1,000 in free play. If you're willing to hold out until after 7, you can get the extra $25. Use promo code Cuse25 in that case. All right? So if it's me, I'll wait till later. You do what you want. You play, you win, you get paid. MyBookie. All right, Joe.
Yes.
Syracuse's offense has been high-powered. It's been fast. It's been efficient. It's been scary for defenses. You got people dropping like flies left and right, regardless if it's real or not. It doesn't matter. They're dropping like flies. So, against, probably one of the best D-lines in the country, best defenses in the country.
Yeah.
That's where your grudge match is going to be had. And I'm just wondering. Can Syracuse hang? You obviously think they can. They're gonna cover the points for the spread at MyBookie. So, I mean, what do we got to look out for? And plus, Clemson does have a bit of a quarterback controversy, somewhat, right?
No, they just actually today announced the starter. It's going to be
Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, the freshman.
Okay, all right.
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, he
threw 4 touchdowns.
He was a 5-star quarterback. He was the #1 recruit in the nation last year. So, so far this year, he's completed 65% of his passes and thrown for 600 yards with 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. They also have a running back, Travis Etienne, who has scored against us before, pretty much I think last year, and he's most likely going to do it again because he's a very fast track guy. So, these guys, he's had 46 carries for 391 yards and 5 touchdowns, and then they have a receiver, T. Higgins, who has 9 catches for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's a big play guy, 6'4", can run past our guys and catch balls over top of them. So, again, it's just going to be a great effort on our defensive backs to be able to just make sure that they limit the big plays. That's how we beat Clemson last year.
Yeah.
We jumped on them early.
We took their quarterback out too.
Well, that was a part of it too, but that can't. It's not going to be the only reason. Obviously, this kid came in and he's starting. Kelly Bryant, I think, is available. He has been hurt. I wouldn't doubt to see both of them. But this Trevor Lawrence kid is the real deal. Pocket passer. He's 6'6", so he has no problem looking over the line. But our defensive line is good too, in their own right. We don't have 4 NFL players across the line like Clemson does, but they're hungry and they're doing pretty well as far as rushing the quarterback this year as well too. So again, it's just going to have to be limiting the big plays because we know that their defense is going to be tough and it's going to be tough to score against them. And as far as their offense goes, it's going to be a different offense that we saw last year and definitely a different offense that we saw the second half of last year's game. So Again, it's going to be tough, but hopefully we can just use our momentum, and hopefully our defense and offensive line, the big boys in the trenches, are going to be able to compete a little bit better against those guys last year. So,
yeah, and
and last year we got in there with our defense. We got some sacks, we got some rushes and some hurries, and our defensive line I think is even better this year. So I think that we're going to be able to create some plays. It's just can we?
I think it's you're going to be in a hostile environment, and there's got to be some sort of you got to just put your blinders on and not let like some of that affect you. I think being at Clemson adds that extra. As it was at the Dome, it gave us that extra edge. It gave us it gave us a little bit of an advantage there. And I just think being at Clemson, it's going to be a hostile environment, man. So
it's going to be very hostile. They're going to want to beat us, and it can't be too big of a stage for them. There's been times where we, like last year, we went down to some places and, but they're playing as the underdog. And yes, they're playing as an underdog this year, but do you really think that some of those players think they're an underdog? I mean,
no, I don't think
players. They're undefeated.
Yeah,
we're undefeated. They beat them last year, so they know they can do it. So my whole worry is being overconfident and some of the younger guys, it being too big of a stage. Cisco, true freshman, he's been playing great, but this isn't going to Western Michigan or playing home against Wagner or UConn.
Straight in the Dome.
Yeah, this is going to be something different that some of the guys on the team haven't seen yet. So, again, there's going to be some guys that are going to be, and that's why I was talking about the hot hand with Jarvion and stuff like that. There's going to be some guys that are going to be ready to go, and there's going to be other guys that I think are going to be a little wide-eyed, and hopefully we can get through that again. I think the key is going to be just the main stuff as far as like limiting turnovers and penalties and limiting big plays. That's the way that we're going to beat them.
And I think we can. I think we can.
We're not gonna score 40 or 50 points on them.
No, hopefully it's a grudge match. A grudge match is best for us anyway, in a game like that. So.
What do you mean as far as like just?
As far as kind of like a low-scoring defensive battle, more or less, I think benefits us. I think. Oh, it could benefit anybody, but of course I'm going to say it benefits us because I'm a Syracuse fan. But I think that instead of like having a shootout, I think.
Well, again, I think that's what you want as a fan because that the fans are going to be there. It's going to be a crazy environment.
It
helps that we're 4-0, but obviously it's because we beat them. But the longer that we stay in the game, they're going to come out for blood early. And we just have to be able to kind of hold off the waves. And as we go on, and as the fans might be getting a little bit less loud and more worried because the game's close, or this is the pressure on the players starts to, and that's when you win games like that on the road. It's a huge advantage with a game like that, especially being an underdog when you're playing at home like last year. Because once you're close, your crowd's into it, then it's tough for the other team. This is the opposite. We're gonna have to just hoard off every wave after wave after wave until it gets close enough to where they start doubting themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Otherwise, it could happen to us, and we could have players lose confidence, and it could get out of hand early, and that's something I don't want. So in the beginning, it's going to have to be like that.
Exactly. All right. Well, hey, it's time to give away some koozies. What do you think?
Yeah. Just send them to me. I send you your address.
Oh yeah, I know. Joe's got to get his koozies. I was waiting because I got some other things that I'm also going to give out with these koozies now. So I'm going to send. If you go to iTunes, if you listen on iTunes, first of all, subscribe. Subscribe on any platform you listen on. That would be a huge thing for us, and we'd appreciate it. But if you go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and written review, read your review on the show, you email us, cusemilitia@gmail.com. Give me your address. I'll send that stuff out. This is from John Jacob 0436. The Cuse. Great podcast. I listen to every episode. So there you go. See, it takes 2 seconds. It took John Jacob 0436 probably about, 15 seconds to do that. And he's going to get 2 koozies, and I got some decals. I got a Cuse Militia decal and a regular Syracuse decal that I will send out to him. So John Jacob 0436.
Thanks, Stingleheimer Schmidt.
email us, cusemilitia@gmail.com. All right. Any final thoughts to wrap this up, Joe? Anything? Yeah, anything? I always put you on the spot about that. You pumped? It pump you up. Okay.
Pump it up.
I'm pumped. I'm also nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
You got to be nervous about it, but again, you just go into it as you have to. Even if somebody would have told you that you were 5-1 going into the Pittsburgh game in the beginning of the season, Syracuse fans would take it.
4-1.
No, I'm saying it. Oh yes, it would be 4-1. Right. Yes, 4-1 going into the Pittsburgh game. Yes, then I think anybody would take that. You know, if I would have told you going into the Pittsburgh game, the 6th game of the year, the only loss you're going to have is at Clemson, then I think everybody would take that. So again, just like last year playing against these teams like that, we just have to look at it as a fan as an opportunity. You know, be anxious, be pumped, but I would kind of hone in the expectations and just watch it as a fan and just hope that it can happen again, because if it does, then we're going to shoot right up into the top 25. And even if
absolutely, we're right on the cusp anyway.
We're right there in the fringe. So I mean, realistically, even if we go in and we give them a good game, like it's a couple points, it comes down to the last possession.
Still could get
that might be enough to shoot us in. So
yeah, we went from 2 votes to 25 votes in the AP.
Right.
So two
again,
votes.
This is just an opportunity to make allow something special to happen. Otherwise, it's no harm, no foul, because it's basically a loss that every Syracuse fan expected. And the most important one is the one after that, I believe, and that's making sure that we don't lose to Pitt, who just lost to UNC. So again, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm looking at it like take your chances, this, and that. But 5-1 going into the bye week would be. Well, I'm saying if they beat Pittsburgh, would be spectacular. So, again, I'm not trying to look ahead. I'm just saying, I'm just kind of put it into perspective as half the season is coming to an end in these next 2 games. And this is just one of those ones where just see the expectations, but just know that, it's just an opportunity to just put us on the map, like for real. Like,
Could you
right
imagine?
In the top 25.
Just revel in this for a second, Cuse fans.
Yeah.
Cuse Nation. Think about this.
That's it.
And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just think about this. Syracuse goes to Clemson, Death Valley at noon, and they keep it tight, and they end up beating Clemson. Could you freaking imagine?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It would be insane. We would be the talk of, and last year it was like, oh, they beat Clemson, but they only have 3 wins. And
True,
they were
right.
we were already 3-4 or something like, or whatever, 3-2 after we beat them or something like that. So, I mean, we're 4-0. So, like you said, it would just be something. Us being 5-0, just beating Clemson, basically just launching us right at the top of our division in the ACC. Like,
it'd be crazy. It would.
That's something that hasn't happened in such a long time. So.
I know. So, all right.
So, like I said, revel in that opportunity.
Yeah, just you get a week. So, good luck to Syracuse, and we'll see it. It's going to be an exciting game regardless. And look,
it's going to be a long week.
Yeah, I know. I want to thank everybody who participated in fan feedback. Thanks for the reviews. Thanks for the tweets, the mentions, and the interaction on social media. It's huge. It's huge. We really love all that stuff. So we appreciate all of that. And I guess that's it. So more Cuse Militia podcasts is inevitable, as always. So for Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
This has been the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. Be heard. Contact us on Facebook at Cuse Militia Podcast and tweet at us using #CuseMilitia.